One of the things I don't talk nowhere near as much as I should about, we're talking speed lights. I want to show you just exactly how powerful a little 80-watt light can be in studio or even on location. Stick around, let's get into it right now.
You see, the hustle that keeps the lights on isn't the same hustle that'll build the empire. You have to keep striving for more, stop listening to the chatter, and focus on reaching greatness. And no matter what, keep making bangers. I am Josh Russell.
This Westcott FJ80 Mark II actually does a lot of the creative things in my photos, as in background lighting, changing the colors, accent lighting, rim lighting, stuff like that. But I want to show you just exactly how powerful this is by testing it with a couple different modifiers in studio, as well as if you stick around, maybe we'll go outside and do some fun stuff out there too. And I just want to let you know that I'm not being paid to make this video. Now I am a Westcott Top Pro, so all of the products, I think all of the products that I'm using in this will be Westcott products. I will leave a link in the description down below to all of the products that I use, including the FJ80 Mark II, as well as some modifiers as well. And as an added bonus, if you want, I'm gonna leave a link down in the description. And what it is it's a link to my free lighting guide. I've created a full lighting guide based around my style of photography and what I do and how I use the lights. Now, with that being said, all of the stuff that I'm going to be doing is going to be in high-speed sync. Now, what high-speed sync is, if you don't know, it's anything over when your shutter speed is faster than 1/250. So you're talking 1/640, 1/8000, 1/3200, stuff like that. Now, in studio, I'm only shooting at right around 1/320 with an aperture of 4.5 and an ISO of 200. Now, when we get that sun in the background, when we go outside or in front of my windows, it may change a little bit. I'll let you know if it does. I'll just put the information down here somewhere on the bottom of the screen. But I want to show you. Let's get into this and let's talk about what you can do. Now, I'm going to walk you through each reflector, each modifier, each bounce, all of the stuff that I use. That way you can see exactly what I'm doing. The photos that I will show on the screen, those are actually going to be slightly touched up. I won't go into a full edit on them. I just want to kind of touch them up and make them look a little bit more spiffy, I guess you could say. So I'm not gonna put edited on every one of them. Just know that all of the photos have been edited slightly when you're seeing them on the screen. So let's go ahead, let's get this going, and let's get the first setup going. Okay, so the first thing that I highly suggest picking up when you have a speed light is what's called an S bracket. This is the S bracket by Westcott. It's a quick mount, and basically what it does is it allows you to mount your speed light in here. So, and then by doing that, what it's doing is it's allowing you to use it essentially as a Bowens mount. So it's giving you the option to use modifiers, the soft boxes, beauty dishes, things like that. So our first modifier that we're going to be using is going to be just a generic umbrella with a silver bounce in it. And what this is going to allow us to do is just really reflect that light in a wider range. It doesn't give us a lot of control though, so you're kind of just limited to what it'll do. However, if you're just doing in-studio headshots or in-studio portraits, this is a great option. I mean, this is going to modify this light to give you so much more brightness out of it. So I'm just going to get this up and we're going to get it right about there, just off camera. I am using a 35mm lens on the black backdrop with the Westcott X-Drop, and we got it about, I would say about a foot above my head, angled down. So we're getting kind of that Rembrandt look. And the thing with this now is you're going to need to make sure that your subject is looking more towards the light. If not, the light is gonna fall off. Now, if you're going for something creative, that's totally okay. But I'm just gonna turn myself a little bit towards the light, look down at that camera, and take that shot. Now, what it's allowing this to do is it's throwing so much softer of a light. It's not just that light that's coming right out of the flash, just going right into my face, which would be overexposed. I actually put a photo up right now prior to me filming of what it looked like with no modifier on it, and it was just no bueno. It was not good. So now we have this shot. What can we do more to it? And what we can do is we can actually bring in one of these Westcott 40-inch 5-in-1 reflectors. And it's gonna kind of get in your way of the video here. But what I wanna do is I wanna kind of use this as a rim light slash bounce. And then when it hits off here, it'll fill in this side just a little. So let's go ahead and let's check that out. So now what you're seeing is A to B. the difference in comparison next to each other. So the one on your left is actually the one without the bounce. The one on the right is the one with the bounce. So you can see how that's kind of filling in just a little bit more. So this is just a regular reflector. Link is in the description down below. This is a generic one that I'm using, but Westcott does have one. So let's go ahead now and let's move over to a shoot-through umbrella and show how to use a shoot-through umbrella. So next up, what we're gonna use is a shoot-through umbrella. Now this is a generic one that is nice and broken. It's been sitting around my studio for a long time. I very rarely use it, but I thought, you know what, for this video, let's go old school. Let's shoot with something that is affordable and easy for everyone to get. Now what this is going to do, I'm just fixing the umbrella here. What this is going to do is it's going to allow your first step into softbox world. What it's gonna do is it's a giant white diffusion now. So instead of bouncing the light, instead of facing it the other direction, now we're facing it towards our subject. This is going to allow a lot softer light. Let me just tighten this down. This is gonna create a lot softer of a look, softer lighting, and it is going to throw the light a little bit more. So it's gonna be a little bit wider of a throw. Same spot though, we're gonna go about the same place. We got our light here, it's facing me. Same Rembrandt style angle here. And it is once again, just off screen, just off camera. And now we have a much better angle of a shot. You can see the difference now in the much softer lighting that we're getting from this one. Now that is a very unflattering pose of me, but that's okay. It's not about the photos in this. I want to show you how the lighting is working. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna bring this reflector in. Now this one I want to bring over here. So I know that you're not going to be able to see much, but I want to be able to use this reflector more of a bounce style, and go ahead and hit this photo like. And one more, just to show you the difference in the angles of using this bounce in different spots. So we're getting really good soft lighting out of this shoot-through umbrella, because what it's doing is it's not just a directed light at me. It's not a bounce diffuse light. It's coming straight through the umbrella, but it's turning that spot this big into a spot this big, or whatever size your shoot-through umbrella is. So it's softening the light. Now remember, we're only using one Speedlight. I haven't brought in any other lights. I don't have anything else going on. I don't have any, I mean, there's overhead lighting in here, but it's not enough to really factor in. And I'll show you a photo right now to prove that this is what it looks like with no flash firing. So shoot through umbrella, really good. I'm going to actually use this one when we do like the outside type stuff, because this is going to give you the most bang for your buck. Is going to be the FJ80 as well as a shoot through umbrella. If you're looking for the brightest, most controlled lighting, that's gonna be this setup right here. So now let's get that down and let's go into a more directed, artistic, creative light.
Well, what's going on? I want to pause real quick and say that I hope you're liking this video. Did you know that 95% of the views on my channel come from non-subscribers? So the odds are you probably aren't subscribed. So first things first, thank you for spending a little bit of your time learning with me. And second, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because that would be amazing. Also, before we get back into the video, are you a photographer and you want to go full-time but you don't quite know how to do it? Well, I've created a free video called the PhotoHustlers Blueprint. In this video, I give you the 3 strategies that I use to launch and run my photography business every single day without worrying about going broke in the process. So if you're ready to ditch your 9-to-5 and be your own boss, then check out the PhotoHustlers Blueprint. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description, so make sure you check it out. But first, let's get back into the video.
So we've shot our reflected umbrella, we've shot our shoot-through umbrella. We're going all the way to kind of the extreme now, and we're gonna shoot with a beauty dish that has a grid on it. Now this grid is all beat up. You can see that, I use it all the time. But But what we're gonna do is we're going to get really creative with this lighting now. It's going to be that next step into lighting. But we're still using that FJ80. It's still the same light. Now what we're doing though is really directing where we want our light. And if you have ever looked up or seen what's called low-key lighting, this is how it's done. This is one of the ways that you can get it to work. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure our light, it's gotta be pretty close to us because we are diffusing that light with that grid, which means we have the silver plate inside our beauty dish, we have that layer of diffusion, and now we have a grid. So we are really killing that light. We're killing the power of it. But what I want is I want to really create something artistic here, and I really want to create some fall off. So this is a great way, especially if you have a black backdrop, to do some low-key lighting. So let's go ahead and let's fire one. So now what you're seeing is the fact that we have really good fall off on this background. So let's go ahead, let's do one more. And you're seeing this fall off that looks really artistic, really good. This is low-key lighting. This is really how you can do something fun. Now let's go ahead, let's bring in our bounce again. We'll bring that nice and close because we can always Photoshop that bounce out later if it shows up in the photos or whatnot. So now we're working with this lighting that is good enough to do some pretty cool creative stuff in studio. So let's talk about overpowering the sun. Now let's pretend we're outside because it's like 30 degrees out and I'm not trying to go outside right now. But my windows are letting in a ton of lighting, a ton of sunlight is coming through. So it is pretty much the same thing. Now with that being said, this is not going to allow you to overpower the sun like a lot of bigger lights will, the 400s, the 800s, the big watt lights. But if you get this light close enough and get creative enough, you can do pretty amazing things with it. And I want to show you that. All I'm using is the FJ80 Mark II and that big shoot-through umbrella. Now, what I want to do is I want to take my first photo with no flash, and I'm going to get this in place here. I'm gonna take my first photo, no flash, just the lighting coming through. So let's go ahead and turn my light off, grab my remote here, and you'll see the photo here like this. So now what I'm showing is the fact that there is no light on my face. Yeah, the background looks cool. It looks great, but there's no light on my face. You can't see me. You can't see what's going on in the photo. So now let me show you by turning my light on. So now I'm at full power. I've got my FJ80, that 80 watt light with that shoot through umbrella. It is at 9 stops. My settings are still the same on the camera. So I'm at f4.5, 1/1600 now, same ISO 200. So what I'm doing is I'm allowing that sun to come in, and then I'm using this FJ80 to overpower the sun. Now I'm inside, the window might have a little bit of tint on it, but I still have some room to wiggle there, and I'll be able to create something that looks pretty cool. So now you're seeing I'm using that sunlight as a rim light, and then I am lighting myself up with this FJ80. So now we're working with just this really good lighting that just looks really crisp out of one 80 watt light that is fairly inexpensive to do what you need it to do. The major importances are that high speed sync, being able to shoot that high speed sync. That's really what's going to get you those crispy photos like that. So I would highly suggest looking for a light that offers high speed sync. I think that is very important to do some really creative stuff. So I think, like I said, the FJ80 is a powerhouse of a first light to have. I would highly suggest picking one up. Links are in the description down below if you want to check them out. If you want to see any and all of the products that I used in this video, you can go ahead and hit the link which takes you to my kit page. I've created a custom page based just around this video with all of the products that I use. Now, with that being said, if you would like to save a little bit of money, there's another link down below. It is a /Westcott link. Look for it. Get yourself a little bit of a discount on any and all FJ Westcott products. Thank you so much for watching this video. I had quite a bit of fun this morning trying to figure out if an 80-watt light would be strong enough to do what I do. And I really think that it's powerful enough. I mean, yeah, you're not going to be able to overpower the sun if you're in the desert on a bright sunny day, but you can do some pretty amazing stuff with just a few modifiers and a 80-watt light. This is a great beginner setup. So if you're trying to get into off-camera flash, this is the way to go. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but I was using the wireless trigger from Westcott as well, the X3S, because I'm shooting Sony. But I feel like this is a fantastic beginner setup that can get you some pretty nice bangers. Go ahead, do with this information what you will. If you decide to do any of these lighting setups, tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see your work. I'd love to follow along and see what people are creating with the things that I've shown them. Thank you again. And if you want to continue learning with me, check this video out right here, because me and YouTube both think that you could benefit from it. I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.